Hey. Of course my head's cut off because it would only be right if my head is cut off. So, what's up? What's up? What's up? It's been a while. All right. What's up? What's up? What's up? Hey, hello. Welcome. So it's definitely been a minute. If you're new, because I just approved, 25 new members or something. So welcome. I'm Ashlyn Ray. What's up? Lifestylist of the rich and famous. You know we all rich and famous up in here, honey. At least if you ask our nieces and nephews, they'll think so. Okay, let me get it popping because clearly, the printer is whipping my ass today. I didn't try to catch up. I forgot to eat. It's a lot going on today, but I am here. I have shown up for y'all. So I'm really excited to talk about today's topic because the irony of today is just insane. But that's a story for another day. But in today's email I sent out today, I was talking about how, forgiving yourself for your past mistakes. And, the title of this live stream today is you just need this one thing to really lean into your divine feminine and to truly manifest your desires and truly manifest your soft life, right? So, I don't like this glare, you guys. So when we talk about, and I know y'all tired of me beating this dead horse, but soft life is not luxury this and luxury that. It can be, but that's more like, black girl luxury. When we talk about soft life, we talk about the path of least resistance, no frustration, making intentional choices and decisions and setting boundaries so that we can protect our mind and our hearts and our spirit and have connections and share love and receive love and abundance and prosperity and just unbound creativity and just really experience life, right? So one of the things I want to talk about is, if you're in this group, most likely, right? Because we talking about fuck the hustle, right? Experience a soft life. When you think about that hustle life, you're thinking about that overachiever, strong arming your outcomes, trying to make sure that the outcome that you desire is what happens, and you're going to, by all means, be the person to make it happen, right? Like, if there's a will, there's a way. And so it's a lot of times it's hard for us to relax and to really just kind of surrender and let God, spirit, universe, love, manifestation, good vibes, whatever that is, for you to kind of take the wheel, right? Like, we'll be like, Jesus, take the wheel, and then we don't let him take the wheel. Like, we'll be like, Jesus, take the wheel, and then we still be like, both feet, one on the driver, one on the gas, one on the brake, you know what I mean? And we got the wheels like that driver's ed car where everybody got a brake. And it's like, you said you won't let Jesus take the wheel, but you ain't do it. So it's so funny. It's so weird. It's so crazy that, you'll believe in fear, but you won't believe in love. You'll believe in fear, but you won't have faith in what you want to happen will be what happens, right? I mean, it's almost like you just saying, hey, you know what? You know what, Big G? You know what, Big Sauce? I don't even have no faith in you that you're going to be able to pull off what you said you was going to be able to pull off. So I'm going to go ahead and keep on meddling in this, right? Now, the reason that we tend to overcompensate by trying to control everything is because we are trying to counteract something within ourselves, okay? So when I was first getting on that road of, okay, I'm going to relax into a life of ease. I'm going to just let things happen the way that they're supposed to happen. I'm just going to have faith that when my time to come for whatever this outcome is, it's going to happen when that time is supposed to come. And at first it was really hard for me. So one of the things that I had to do is I got back into this. So I had a couple of moments where it was like, I had several years where it was super, super peaceful. If I said I wanted it, it happened. It just came on up. Shit was sweet. And then I had a lot of things happen that pulled me out of it. It kept pulling me into the reality of what is versus what will be, right? And I couldn't enjoy where I was. And so as I came out of that and was able to come out of survival mode and back into prosperity, back into abundance, back into joy, back into overflow, I was experiencing little bits and pieces of happiness and joy and little bits and pieces of fun and success. But it was always like this nagging, it was always like this nagging issue or this thing on my shoulder that would just like kind of pull me back, like, whoa, don't have too much fun though. Gotcha, bitch. You know what I mean? Like, it don't have too much fun. Oh, don't get too excited. Don't get too used to this. You know, so you kind of just like always on edge. And so I would get really close to exactly what I want, and then it would be like, it would fizzle out. Or I would take a few steps back. You know, and that could be in the love department, the career department, the business department, the family department, the friendship department, the weight loss department, you know, the money management department. It would be whatever this thing was. I'd be so close to achieving the goal, and then it'd be like, whoop, hold on now. You're getting too close to what you wanted. And so I realized that I had these blocks. And so the blocks were, you know, and I got my notes here. I got a lot of stuff to cover today. But the blocks, I noticed that like every single thing for me, and I'm gonna talk about my most recent experience, every single thing for me that I perceived as negative from a financial standpoint, I blamed it on betting on myself and starting my own business. I blamed it on myself to say, everything that's happened to me from here on out is like punishment for chasing my dream, for giving something a college try. And so it was like I was just being punished for making this terrible decision because it was the moment that I wasn't responsible. It was the moment that I did something for myself. It was the moment that I went off the beaten path, the moment that I did something different than the status quo or what my family and friends expected of me, right? So I felt like I was being punished for it. And so I would always have that in the back of my head, like I made this terrible decision, and these are all of the consequences for it, because you knew if you did this that there were going to be consequences, and now you're going to pay for it. And I kind of like just like humbly took that, right? And then I also had like a loss of confidence in my decision making. Like I couldn't trust if what I actually desired or what I wanted or what I was going after was actually good and if it was for me. So what that did was, because it caused me to second guess everything, it suppressed my creativity. It suppressed my outgoingness. It suppressed my want to be around others. It suppressed my my desire for fun and curiosity, to be honest. And it just really stifled the confidence of all other areas of my life, because you got to think like this one big thing is looming over me and it's starting to permeate all the rest of my life. Think about when something like really bad you perceive as bad has happened to you, rather that's like something at work where maybe you hate your job, or you gained a lot of weight, or you got depressed because of a relationship, or you feel guilty about something in your household, and it kind of just like gets in the way of everything. And generally when we're having those type of emotions, we are in some way blaming ourselves for something, whatever our part was in that. So when I say you just need this one thing to lean into your divine feminine and your creativity and truly manifest your soft life, that one thing is self-acceptance. Like whole acceptance. Not you tried your best, but not you do okay here, but then sometimes you fall short over here. Not, girl, you did good all the way up until you opened your mouth and said A, B, and C, or you were a great girlfriend until you decided that you wanted to do more with yourself, or whatever negative, weird shit is going on in the back of your heads, right? You have to fully accept yourself for where you're at right now. Because if you're nagging and nitpicking and criticizing and being a mean girl to yourself, you're going to constantly be holding yourself back from living in the moment, from being present, for being grateful for who you are, for being grateful for where you are, for being grateful for the experiences and the people that you've experienced things with. Okay? So for you to have full self-acceptance, there's one more thing. And you are going to have to forgive yourself for whatever part you played in, whatever situation you perceived as the root of all your problems, whatever you perceived as the bad decision, whatever you perceived as the thing that made you unhappy, the thing that ruined it all, whatever that is for you, whatever. I don't care what decision you think you made that was so bad or what situation you have gone through, rather that's shame or guilt or sadness, anger, frustration. I can remember when I was so sad and I had this depression where I was mad at myself for dating at my self-esteem level. Right? So like when it was over, either, because this has happened more than once, they either had the audacity to motherfucking do some wild shit or I ended it because I realized that it wasn't worth, it wasn't on track of where I was going. And I would be mad at myself for the time I wasted or how I let somebody treat me or whatever. But I literally dated my self-esteem level. And I don't know if it was partially like punishment to punish me for me being where I'm at for my self-esteem level, because it was usually a result of some decision, right, that I made, some choice I've made. Or if it was because like, how dare you? Like, how dare you? But I would be mad because I wasted that time. And like, when I think back on it, and I'd be thinking, oh my God, if somebody knew that I did this thing or dated this person or, engaged in this situation, it's like, what would they think of me? Oh my God, it's so terrible. And it's like, first of all, I'm projecting because this is what I was thinking of myself. And I'm thinking, of course, people would think it too. But then I'll be so mad at myself, and it's like literal anger. And so you're like, how did I let myself gain this much weight? How did I let myself date this person? How did I let that person say this thing to me at work and I ain't snap back right away? How did I let so-and-so get away with blah, blah, blah? And it's like, I would literally hold a grudge against myself for not standing up for myself at that time or for not doing better or making a better decision or whatever. And so I had to forgive myself and accept myself, accept those decisions, understand that those decisions were made in the moment with the information that I had at the time. I did the best that I could. This is where I was at. And now I'm somewhere else. But like, I can't have shame about it or guilt about it or regret it. I have to just accept it, honor this is what it was, forgive myself, and then move on so that I can accept my whole self, right? So the way that I got through it, I started to be more mindful of my thoughts. Like whenever I would just be negative or get down on myself or feel shame or guilt, it was like, okay, no, we're not doing that today, boo. We're not doing that today. Bring that shit back. And I would just find some way to make myself happy. I got certain songs I like to listen to. I color, I watch cartoons, I read, I take nature walks, whatever that I needed to do. If I needed to be around a particular friend or call my sister or whatever, right? But I would find some way to move myself into a happier place, right? Then I would have to remind myself that I was blessed. I am blessed with the opportunity to make a different choice going forward. So I am blessed with the opportunity to make a choice going forward. I am blessed for the experience that I've had, what I learned from it, how I can use that to help somebody else so I can pay that forward. And then whatever outcome I encountered, it's an essential part of my life journey. So every single thing that I did, every decision that I made, every experience that I've made or had is something that's a part of my life journey, as is for you. So every situation that you've overcome, every relationship you've been a part of, everything you've endured, everything you've sacrificed, that you've suffered from, that you've enjoyed, all of that is a part of your life journey. And you know, people say, well, how can you know when it's sunshine if you've never experienced the rain? And although I don't truly buy into that, I just feel like that we experience rain because we tend to, you know, what do they say? You don't believe it. You don't believe shit stink. You know, you don't believe it's hot till you stick your hand on the stove kind of thing. And I feel like as humans in our curiosity, we have to do that. And so it becomes a part of your life journey, right? So through daily affirmations, journaling, therapy, meditation, exercise, like all these things was stuff that I had to use in order to keep me on the up and up, surrounding with positive people, surrounding with people that that keep me in good spirits, that have good attitudes and stuff like that. So I'm gonna put this in a more practical way because I feel like we all say, oh, journal, meditate, dream, you know, all the whatever shit, right? And don't get me wrong, because journaling definitely helps. But I'm gonna put this in a more practical way. So reframing. If you can think of a situation that you perceive as negative, that just wasn't how you wanted it to go, or you feel bad about it now, you have shame about it now. If you reframe that in such a way that, what did you take away from it? What was the lesson that you got from it? And how can you apply that going forward? If you can reframe the situation into something that is now a part of your life journey and is a learning tool, it is something that maybe you didn't realize until you put it in a different perspective. If you can reframe it in a more positive light, then it takes away the negativity from it. And so you still have that experience, but it changes how you remember the experience. So the other thing is small aligned actions. So if you, let's say for instance, you know, you want to be an artist or something. And it's like, okay, well, I don't have any formal artist training and I don't know where to start and I don't know how to paint and I don't know. Okay, fine. But you can start making tiny actions from where you are now. You could take a master class. You could read a book. You could go to a museum, an art gallery. You can start making your own vision boards or whatever. But anything that's going to put you in that creative state, right? So small aligned actions. I couldn't wait to get back to you guys, to coaching, to speaking, to writing. And at first I felt like I had a big block against it because I felt like all these things that I've been through, what do I have to offer? What do I have that people will care about now that I've been through all this stuff and I've been gone so long? But lo and behold, they still wanted to hear from me. They still needed me. They still could use my information just like they could before. And as I flexed the creativity muscle, as I flexed the path, the muscle to go down the path and kept doing these things over and over, I started to get good. I started to relax more. If you've been here with me since the very beginning, since this group came about, then you would remember my very first live stream was stiff as fuck. It was so stiff, I think I deleted it. I can't remember. It was really bad. And I used to be like so good on camera. Like it was whatever. It was just like y'all was my best friends and we was just kicking it. And I'm kind of back to that now. But that first one was like I was shook. I was the fuck shooketh, okay? But you got to flex that muscle. So whatever that creativity is for you. So your creativity might be numbers. Mine is speaking, writing, the literature type thing, right? But start taking those small daily actions. Mine, for me, began with just journaling, just writing, just putting pen to paper for me. The other thing is the nourishment of the mind. And this is really through affirmations. If you really understood just how much your negative or positive self-talk impacts you, you would do whatever the F you could to make sure that you were always speaking positivity and light to yourself. Like, I promise you, if you knew how important this was and how impactful this was and how big of a shift you can have just from talking to yourself in the manner in which you want to become, you would literally 24/7 have this type of talk. You would listen to affirmations, you would meditate, you would have it in your AirPods, you would listen to it in the car, you would wake up to it, you would sleep to it. I mean, I promise you. And so with that being said, at first I didn't want to do it. I was resistant. It's so funny how we're resistant to what's good for us. I was resistant at first, and I knew this worked because this is what I taught. This is what I've done. This is how I've been living for 15 plus years. I just had this weird resistance at this time because I was like being real stubborn, like, I just didn't want to do it. But I started with just saying my little affirmation prayers. So recently, if you've been reading the emails I've been sending out, I can include a little affirmation prayer in each one. And so I plan to continue to do that for as long as my spirit is called to do so. And I would just say that one little thing, and I would sit in the morning, and that little affirmation prayer would help me, like, just kind of like set my day. And then it got to the point where it was like, oh, I'm putting in my affirmations in my earbuds while I do my jog, because I took up running again recently, and I go for a 1 or 2 mile run, and I put that in, or I listen to a positive book, some kind of a book that I want to learn something of or whatever. But the point is, I keep that positivity and that nourishment going into my brain at all times, because it is literally that important. Like, it is life or death. It is life or death for me to be positive, to stay in a place of peace and a place of abundance and overflow and joy, because the more I can stay in this wonderful state, the more of it I'm going to bring to me, the more of it I'm going to see. Okay. It is no different than when you get that car, you buy that red car, and then everywhere you see the same red car. I want all the motherfucking red cars. Okay. I want all of the cars. And so I need to stay in a place of red car mode. Okay. I need to be red car centered. And so it's what I do all day. I mean, if the music don't make me feel good, if the book isn't making me feel good, if the TV show isn't making me feel good, I don't want to hear it. I mean, I'm in a place where I, hands and knees, hand wash my floor in a bucket in hot ass water, and me and Beyonce was in here giving the whole outside a freaking concert, okay? It was like the best day of my life. Because I am red car centered. I think I need to coin that. Red car centered, okay? So I'm not going to sit here and act like it wasn't any resistance at, going, like, moving back into this space, because it absolutely was. There was times where people were trying to push me back into coaching before I was ready. They were trying to push me back into camera before I was ready, push me back into the spotlight before I was ready. And I resisted all of it. And every time I would try to step out and do it, just because, they were trying to push me to it, it just wasn't aligned. It was not red car centered. And I was self-conscious as fuck, because what if I fail again? What if something in my life goes wrong again that has me spiraling down, and I do this again in front of everyone? But it's like, that's life. Like, stuff gonna happen. Things are gonna change, we're gonna have to, move with the punches or roll with the punches. Like, hello, bob and weave, because stuff's always going to be coming at you. So you can't control what's going to come at you, as a part of the external world, but you can control how you receive it, or if you receive it at all, and then how you move around it, right? Finesse is what it is when you are red car centered. You can finesse, and you always stay in that spot as best you can. So when the resistance comes, when you've trained your body and your mind to act and to comply in a way that is positive, you naturally bring forth that creativity, that femininity, that divine energy, that love, that spirituality. Like, it just, you can't fight it. So how do you know if you are suffering from mental blocks of guilt or shame? Because remember, I said you just need this one thing to lean into your divine creativity and to truly manifest your soft life, right? So if you're in resistance mode and you are operating out of shame, fear, guilt, frustration, sadness, depression, then guess what you're not doing? you're not leading the path of least resistance, and you are absolutely not leaning into your soft life. Okay? So for you to do that, again, what do we got to do? We got to fully accept. We got to fully accept ourselves. And to fully accept ourselves, what do we got to do? Forgive ourselves. That is correct. So how do you know if it's you? So if you suffer from mental blocks, it could feel like you're stuck in a loop that's out of control, where you're like always, you keep going through the same decisions and you keep going back and forth, and you just really have no kind of, usually when you know the right choice, like your heart kind of pulls you to it. Like if you know that this is the decision, your heart just kind of takes you to it. And so you either have no control, you feel like you have no control of the decisions being made. And then the other is that you may experience guilt for not being able to make the right decisions, like based on the risk involved, right? So you have a lot of guilt on like, and pressure on making the right decision, which truthfully, we really should get out of our heads that, there's not any one right decision. If that decision doesn't work, you do something else, right? And you might be a little gun shy, because these signs, as for when we think of gun shy, procrastination, feeling anxious, angst, nervousness, pressure, lack of motivation and confidence, things that you would usually like slay on any day, and now all of a sudden you're like second guessing it, and you're not like doing it the way you normally would. So the practical tips that I shared with you as far as the reframing, nourishing my mind, taking aligned actions, all of those things are going to help you, right? But you first have to commit. You have to commit. You have to commit to forgiving yourself and saying you're going to be softer and nicer to yourself, and for all of this stuff, for the shame for taking him back, for the credit card debt that you racked up, for the failed business, for the career decision that you made that didn't work out, for the relationship that you had a falling out with, and maybe you need to be the one to apologize, the time that you dropped the ball with your bestie, hating your job but you just sucking it up for the salary, whatever the thing is, you need to forgive for judging somebody else. Maybe, you felt bad for judging. Forgive yourself for whatever that decision is. First, you got to do that. Now, if you forgive yourself, now you can course correct, because every day is a new day. And if you can course correct, if you forgive yourself, you got to do over. You can course correct, and every day is a new day to make a new decision, right? So there's something really, really cool about when you forgive yourself. When you forgive yourself and accept yourself as a whole, you tend to have more compassion for another individual, for a decision they might have made, because now you're able to put yourself in their shoes. And what does that do? Pulls forth your divine feminine, your creativity, your compassion, your nurturing, your love. It pulls all of that out of you, and it allows you to operate out of abundance, out of love, out of prosperity, out of unbound creativity, right? So again, every morning is a fresh morning to start and do something else. You are not your choices. You are not your salary. You are not your career. You are not your friends. You are not your wardrobe. You are not your partner. You are not your past. Shit, you're not even your today, right? You are a spiritual being. And whatever you create, your soft life, your luxe life, your spiritual life, whatever you create is your reality, your perception of you projecting out. But you're a spiritual being, and we're all connected, right? We're all connected. We're all one. None of us are special. We're all special, or none of us are special, because we all want the same things: love, connection, health, family, right? So I just want you to know that, or to remember, right? You are love, boundless energy, passion, creativity, quiet strength, and unlimited potential. So if you do the steps that we talked about, right, you can get out there, you can clear the fog from your past, and we can choose again for your future. So you got this. I know you got this. I just want you to take it one day at a time. Even though what I'm dealing with today is a story for another day, if only you knew what was happening in the background with this smile on my face, because I'm literally red car centered. I am literally in the moment, grateful, forgiving, and accepting of all of me. choices be damned. Past choices be damned. Thank y'all for hanging out with me tonight. I wanted to show up. I said I was going to be here. I will send out this replay tomorrow if you missed it. Drop some emojis if you got something out of this. If you got a little bit of whatever, you got some fire. And I'll see you guys next week on live and tomorrow in your inboxes. All right. Deuces.